So unless you've been living on another planet, the madness of the overall real estate market and the total lack of affordability has reached unimaginable levels. Take a look at this.
Median home prices are almost double what they were a decade ago, and interest rates are 2.5 times higher than the end of 2020.
237 cities, a so-called starter home will now set you back at least $1 million.
The cost of a monthly payment on a median price home at north of $3,000, you need $120,000 in income to afford that.
And here in Las Vegas, where I'm located, we are ground zero for some of the most ridiculous real estate price increases that you'll ever see. Take a look at this example right next to me. This home was purchased a little bit over 4 months ago for $700,000. It was quickly renovated and then put back on the market 2 months later for over $1.2 million. It truly is madness, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market. And coming up, I'm going to show you exactly where I think home prices are headed. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people are hoping and waiting for home prices to crash because of how high home prices are now. But not only has that not happened, the exact opposite has been happening. And it's not just happened for the last few years. It's been happening for decades. Take a look at this. All right, so let's first take a look at this U.S. map graphic. Now, take a look at the very top where it says 40-year change in statewide home prices. Now, the reason why I'm showing you guys this map is because I wanted to show you the cumulative effect of home price appreciation over a 40-year long-term period. Now, I'm not going to go through each individual state, but it's pretty dramatic in most of the states around the country. So let's just kind of cherry pick a few of them here. All right, so the darker colored states are the states that have seen the most home price appreciation over the last 40 years. And the lighter colored states are the states that have seen the least amount of home price appreciation during this 40-year time period. So let's just cherry pick a few states here. Let's start in the Pacific Northwest. Right up here in Washington, it's 828% over a 40-year time period. This is the #1 state in the country that has seen the most home price appreciation over this 40-year time window. The next highest right here is Oregon. Right there, it's 700%. And then the third one right below it is in California at 664%. Now, if we go to the south here in the middle part of the country, you can see right there in Texas, 320%. So again, the middle part of the country obviously has not seen the same kind of home price appreciation. Right next door to it in the state of Louisiana, they're at the bottom of the list, but still at almost about 200%. If we go down to the southeast here in Florida, 541%. Then as we move up the East Coast here, we go up to the state of Massachusetts, 664%, and just above that in the state of Maine, 605%. All right, so there's two main takeaways here that I want to point out to you guys. Number 1, you can take a look at the eastern half of the country and the western half of the country. Those are the darker blue colored states that obviously have seen more home price appreciation than the middle part of the country because, again, those are the more popular states where more people live, so naturally home prices are higher there than the middle part of the country. The second main takeaway is this. We're looking at a 40-year time period, and someone said this to me a while ago, but I like this expression. When in doubt, zoom out. So when you zoom out and you take a look at a 40-year time period, you can see the kind of home price appreciation that's basically happened over the entire time period of this country because home prices over the long term continue to appreciate. They don't go down. Even though we might have a recession or a crash or a correction, this just shows you the trajectory of where home prices are always moving. They are moving upward, not downward, when you really zoom out and you look at the entire picture. So now this is due to several factors, but the two biggest ones are supply and demand issues and persistent inflation. And as you can see right next to me, inflation is still moving higher. And here's the other thing. As shockingly high as home prices are right now, they are projected to go even higher. Take a look at this graphic. So let's take a look at this U.S. map graphic. Now take a look at the very top where it says projecting 2030 house prices by state. So this article that just came out, and I'm going to show you more details of these particular states down below, you could see the most obvious thing here is out of the top 10 states that they're projecting the most home price growth, other than the state of Massachusetts, which is number 9 on the list, on the eastern side of the country. The other 9 states out of the top 10 are all on the western half of the country. So let's take a look at number 1. No surprise, California. Number 2, Hawaii. Number 3, Washington. Number 4, Colorado. Number 5, Utah. Number 6 is Nevada, where I happen to be located. Number 7 is Oregon. Number 8 is Idaho. Number 9 is on the eastern part of the country there with Massachusetts. And number 10 is Arizona. All right, so let's drill down more specifically to those top 10 states and go through some of these numbers. Number 1, you can see on the top left there is California. The projected September 2030 value is almost $1,050,000. Hawaii is at about $890,000. Washington is $782. Colorado is $763. Utah is $672. In my state of Nevada, $652. Oregon is $631. Idaho is $628. Massachusetts is $626. And number 10, Arizona, is $557. So just to give you more specific reference, take a look at number 6 on the list, the state of Nevada. Now that's where I happen to be located, specifically in Las Vegas, where the majority of people in the state live. You can see that projected number of $652,000 for the median price point in about 5 years from now. Now again, nobody has a crystal ball on any of these numbers, but just to give you some reference, the median price now in Las Vegas for a home is $485,000. So this is about a 30% pop in about 5 years. Now again, all of these price points here in these states show a significant amount of growth in this 5-year window. And the reason why I'm showing this to you is when you take a look at inflation and where prices are headed, prices across the board from every data point is not showing a price decrease or any kind of a correction or a crash. They are showing significant price increases in most of the states, especially these top 10. Now here where I'm located, we only have a little over 5,000 total Las Vegas homes for sale, which is why we just hit a record high for home prices. Check this out.
And according to a new report by Las Vegas realtors, the median home price of single-family homes sold in January for $485,000. That's up 9% from January of 2024. Now, this breaks the previous record of $482,000 set back in May of 2022. Now, the median price for condos and townhomes sold for $293,000, up 6.5% from just a year ago.
And just think, these record high home prices here in Las Vegas is with interest rates hovering right around 7%, which just goes to show you how resilient the Las Vegas real estate market is nowadays. And guess what happens when interest rates finally start to go lower? You guessed it, home prices are going up. Now, because of the continued strong demand here in Las Vegas, a lot of home sellers and investors are still trying to get some crazy prices for their homes. And I want to show you a few examples of that are pretty shocking in this upcoming segment. All right, so now I'm on the popular real estate website Zillow that most of you are familiar with. And I want to show you 3 specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale, starting with this first one because I have a client that's very interested in possibly purchasing this home, and then coming down a little bit lower in price just to show you different price points and what's really going on with sellers here and what's going on in the real estate market here specifically in Las Vegas. So let's take a look at this first one. You can see on the left side of the screen, this home is currently listed for $1,380,000. Just above that in the small red text, it says price cut $70,000, but that's not the full price reduction as you're about to see. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, about 3,500 square foot home on a 1-acre lot, which is very rare in Las Vegas. But more importantly, I want to show you the full price history down below. All right, so let's look at the shocking price history of this particular home. Take a look at the blue highlight down at the bottom left. The date says 4/8/2013, so we're going back about 12 years ago. This home was sold for $650,000. Now, they tried to list it right after they had purchased it for about $689,000. They couldn't find a buyer, so they took it completely off the market. Then fast forward 11 years later, in March of last year, so about a year ago, they listed this home for $1.6 million. It was massively overpriced. They couldn't find a buyer. And you can see as I scroll up here, they reduced it to $1.5 million, $1.450, and then you can see right at that yellow highlight at the top, the current list price is $1,380,000. So again, I have a client that's very interested in purchasing this home, and we've had several discussions about what the offer price should be. And when I look at the comparable homes in this particular community, the maximum true value offer price that we would want to put in is probably about $1.2 million. Now, we have no idea if the seller is willing to accept that because that's far below their original list price. But when you really take a look at the overall situation, and this is why I'm showing you guys this example, when you take a look down at the bottom right in that blue highlight, the sellers bought this home 12 years ago for just $650,000. So they are still going to make a handsome profit on the home over a 12-year period of time. And again, I'm showing it to you guys because the trajectory of home prices, especially here in Las Vegas, over this long time period is going upward, not downward. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Take a look on the left side of the screen. You can see the current list price is $1,150,000. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,100 square foot home. It's been fully remodeled, but more importantly, again, I want to show you the shocking price history down below. All right, so this one is really pretty crazy. Again, take a look in the blue highlight down at the bottom left there. The date says 10/24/2024. So just a few months ago, this home was sold for $700,000 to an investor. They remodeled the home. Again, it looks very nice, but take a look at the date just above it in that yellow highlight. 1/3/2025, a little over 2 months after they purchased this home and remodeled it, they put it on the market for a whopping $1,225,000. Massively overpriced. They could not find a buyer. And you can see just above it, they dropped it down to about $1.2 million. And then the current list price you can see there in the yellow highlight is now currently listed at $1,150,000. So again, this is one of my biggest pet peeves in the entire real estate industry, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, where you have these smaller investors buy a home, remodel it, and not only do they expect to get all of their remodeling costs back, but they expect to make a gigantic profit on top of it. Now, most of the homes in this community aren't even worth about $900,000, but because they remodeled it, they're trying to set a new higher bar and trying to obviously make a very large profit. Now, here's the thing. They're not going to get $1,150,000 for this home, in my opinion. They'd be lucky to get about $1 million for it. But even if they do, they're still going to make a very nice profit because, again, whether it's a resale home that hasn't been remodeled and the seller's held onto it for a long period of time, or a seller that's remodeled the home like this investor and they're trying to flip it quickly, they are still going to make a profit because prices continue to go up here in the Las Vegas real estate market, whether it's a resale home, a new home, or any of these kind of investor flips. All right, so now let's take a look at this third and final example of another Las Vegas home for sale. You can see on the left side of the screen, we're definitely coming down in price now. This home is currently listed at just under $510,000. Just above that in the small red text, it says price cut of $15,000 that happened just a couple of weeks ago. Again, this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, almost 1,400 square foot home. But again, I want to show you the full price history down below to show you the kind of profitability that the seller is likely going to make when they ultimately sell this home. All right, so again, one more time, focus your attention down at the blue highlight down in the bottom left there. The date says 6/15/2018. So a little bit more than 6 years ago, this home was sold for just $270,000. Now take a look at the date just above that in that yellow highlight, 1/7/2025. So almost 6.5 years later, they listed this home for sale for $530,000. They were not able to find a buyer, so they reduced it down to $525,000 that you can see just above it. And now the current list price is just about $510,000. All right, so let's rewind the clock here a little bit. A little bit less than 7 years ago, this seller purchased the home well before the pandemic for a very reasonable $270,000. Now we fast forward to the current date, and they think that the home is nearly doubled in value. Now, they still haven't found a buyer. They've reduced it down a little bit, but even if they sell this home for even under $500,000, they're still going to make a very handsome profit. And again, it goes back to what I keep saying. A lot of people keep waiting for a crash and a correction, but when you hold on to a home for a long period of time, in that 7-year window or longer, this is typically what happens. Not usually this much kind of appreciation, but home prices continue to go up because that is based on the history and the track record of home prices. They don't go down over the long term. So now here's the thing. When you see home sellers and investors listing their homes at those kinds of price points, even though most people think it's absolutely ridiculous, they're doing it for a reason. Because up until recently, they know demand has been strong enough to support those very large price increases. And even though some of them are getting a reality check now and having to lower them, they're still likely going to make a very handsome profit because they've held on to the properties for a long period of time. Now, again, a lot of people are constantly wishing and hoping for that housing crash. And unless housing supply increases or there's a serious economic downshift, the actual inflationary environment that we're living in right now, in my opinion, is going to go higher, not go down, which means home prices and everything else in the economy is likely going to go higher over time. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video. Now, I have two of them, and they're both on opposite ends of the spectrum. One is very negative about the real estate market, and the other person definitely thinks the real estate market is going to increase. So let me read both of them to you. I'm going to put them both up here on full screen and then come back on the other side and comment on it. So this first comment is from Marron. Buyers are gone and investors are dumping. With all the layoffs, it's only going to get worse. And this second comment is from Zita. I can see a future where Las Vegas goes the way of California, where median income to median home price ratio is much worse there than it is here now. Las Vegas is a relatively young city, so we can see what has happened to other Western U.S. cities to get an idea of what might happen here. So let's dissect that first comment, because unfortunately, all of what he said in that comment is untrue or unsubstantiated. Number one, he says buyers are gone. That's totally untrue, because buyer demand still outweighs supply, and that's why we have record high home prices, especially here in Las Vegas. Number two, he said that investors are dumping their properties. That's completely untrue. Most of the investors, especially the large investors like the corporations, are not dumping their homes after 1 or 2 years. They are renting them out in mass quantity, getting a good return on investment for their investors. So again, that's also untrue. And number three, what's unsubstantiated is he said that all these layoffs are coming and it's going to be much worse for the overall economy. That, again, is speculation. We don't know what's happening with the job market. Even though it's softening, he's expecting, again, a doomsday-like scenario. And again, it's all speculation that has not happened as of yet. So now let's dissect that second comment where that person thinks that Las Vegas is heading in the same direction as California, where median income is definitely being far surpassed by median home prices here. Now, that definitely happened in California, and it absolutely is happening now in Las Vegas. I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want to know whether or not you agree with the first commenter or the second commenter, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So just to close out the video, I just want to leave you guys with one final comment and some advice. It's very simple to see what's going on in the real estate market. Those that can buy homes, people that are wealthy, current homeowners, high income earners, remote workers, business owners, corporations, and investors, those people in those groups are likely going to continue to buy real estate no matter what the economic situation is, and they're likely going to reap long-term benefits because of that long-term appreciation that has historically happened holding onto property for a long period of time. Then you've got the other side, the people that unfortunately are complaining, that are frustrated because they think prices are too high, and they're waiting for that crash only to realize that it has yet to materialize while the parade constantly goes by them. That is the unfortunate reality. Now, here's the thing. This is my personal advice to you guys. If you can comfortably afford to buy a home, put a down payment down, comfortably afford those mortgage payments, then I would say go for it as long as you're willing to hold on to the property long term. If you can't do it comfortably, try to find a way to earn more income. Try to get a side hustle because, again, in my opinion, home prices are only going up long term. Now, here's the thing. I know everybody's circumstances are different. Some people can buy right now, and a lot of people are still buying right now. Other people are looking to wait. If you are thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.